world of endless noise, one sound cuts through. GC Radio Hub. Your world, your sound. Imagine your favorite voices following you everywhere. From your smartphone to your car, your smart TV, even your virtual assistant. GC Radio Hub connects you to a universe of content. Check out our wonderful interviews on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio, live music shows and podcasts. All at your fingertips. Android TV, Apple TV, Roku, Fire Stick TV. We're there wherever you are, because the only way to stay connected is to get connected. Download the GC Radio Hub app today and let your world come alive.
Thank you guys for calling GC Radio, and this is your favorite cousin Chief, and we have Rayne Wells and Ben. Rayne, how you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good.
And wonderful. So today we got you here, and let the people know, first of all, your social media, any websites you have before we get into it. So if they are not connected, they can connect and follow you.
Absolutely. So my name is Rayne Wells, RayneWells. I'm on Facebook. I also have Tough Guy Tuesday on Instagram. And I have a website called sponsorfighters.com. SponsorfighterswiththeNAS.com.
All right. Well, first of all, you got one of our sponsors on our favorite company. I see the hat, Fight Wax. I got to get a hat, man. I don't have no paraphernalia. All I got is a can of Fight Wax. It's almost gone. Wonderful product. But I have no hat, no shirts, nothing. I'm jealous.
We'll get some out to you.
Appreciate it. So tell us, how'd you get involved with boxing, man, and fighting? What was the draw?
So I know that you were in law enforcement before. I was on the other side of that coin, man. So I did 12 years in prison. I had 30 for robbery over there in Washington State, and I got out at 33 years old, and I thought, man, I'm a pretty tough guy, man. I've been in all these fights in the joint, and I walked into an MMA gym and realized that I was wrong. So I ended up training every day for 30 days, taking a fight, winning, and I was hooked, man. I kept going. I did MMA, kickboxing, a little bit of boxing, not too much, and then I ended up going pro MMA. And then from there, I got a call one day, and they were like, do you want to do bare knuckle boxing? And I'm 3 fights into my BKFC career. So I hope to keep going with that and carve out some wins.
Now, I'm just going to keep it 100 with you. I don't care. I'm a bigger guy than you. I'm not getting in the ring with you unless we get in We Fit. I take your ass down and We Fit. But other than that, I'm not doing it. Take a man with some heart to get in a ring, bare knuckles, no gloves, no pads, and do the thing, man. I mean, that's some Kimbo Slice stuff, like
I love Kimbo.
Hairy stuff.
Yeah.
I met him when he was live, man. Wonderful guy. I met him when he was live. Wonderful guy. That takes some big kahunas, man. I don't think mine large enough. So my hat's down to you, bro. It takes a special individual that can give and receive those blows. Where I'm breaking my hand, breaking the jaw. I mean, Jesus. That's intense. Why bare knuckle versus regular boxing? What was the attraction of bare knuckle?
I feel like I was most comfortable with the stand-up striking, and bare knuckle striking is different from boxing. Guys, in boxing, you got a little bit of space that's accounted for with the gloves, but in bare knuckle, it's like there's no margin for error there. The punches slip right through. The hits actually cut. I got knocked out in my first one, and I'm going to tell you, I thought I was going to come in hands low and throw this big hard shot, and the guy had 44 boxing fights, and he came with straights, and his straights landed before my big hooks did, and I got KO'd, man, and I'm gonna tell you, I woke right up, but I was knocked out. I was happy not to be on a highlight reel. You know, some people stick one arm up and fall weird. None of that, but it was still, I'd never been knocked out in my life, man. And the man told me before he came up to me at a weigh-ins and he said, "Hey, you ever been knocked out?" I said, "Man, don't you got somewhere to be?" And he said, "You ever been hit with a bat? That's what it's going to feel like. I hit hard." And I'm like, "Well, you're going to have to fight tomorrow. You ain't talking me out of it, buddy." I'm crazy, dude. His name's Angel Hernandez.
Did it feel like a bat?
Yeah, he hit like a bat. That was at 155. And even now that I went up weight classes, I ain't never been hit that hard, bro. Yeah, he's a heavy hitter.
So how long did you train before you became a professional? You go amateur fights, or you just practice and jumped in there, or you know?
Nah, I had 3 or 4 amateur kickboxing and about 6 amateur MMA fights, and then I got a call for a pro fight in Houston. I think I was 39.
Okay.
And I said, "Yeah, let's do that." And I went down there. I fought a dude that trained out of Derek Lewis's gym down there in Houston. And I think, you know, I was just like, I might not get another opportunity to go pro. So I took it. You know, it was a bad fight. It was a 190 catch weight fight, and I'd been fighting at 55. So I had to gain a few pounds, and I was still a couple pounds under the 190 mark, and the dude weighed like 215 by the time it was time to fight. But yeah, did that, and then took another pro fight before going on to BKFC. So I got 2 pro fight. Well, I got 3 now. I took a MMA fight last year in New Hampshire too.
Wow, man, this is incredible, bro. This is incredible. You know, I've talked to several fighters, and they told me that, you know, when you're fighting, a lot of time you have to have the fundamentals down, because sometimes you can get punch drunk. I mean, you in a daze, like you're in a room, like you're there, but you're not there, and everything is slow motion, and you got to come out that room. Have you ever experienced that? And if you did, how did you get out of it?
Yeah, so it happened a little bit different for me than punches. It was 2 fights ago. I fought at the Hollywood Hard Rock in Florida, and Conor McGregor and Shaquille O'Neal were ringside, and I was fighting this guy from Kazakhstan. He was Russian, and you know, he's from Kazakhstan, but he right now has the super middleweight title over there in his home. He fought the Iranian Hulk in Abu Dhabi before me at heavyweight. So the guy, he had a lot of, they call him the Kazakh Titan. But he didn't speak English, and we were clinched up. And when we broke apart, he was still striking because he didn't understand what they were saying. And he cut me across the top and the bottom of my eye with his thumbnail. So I had these 2 cuts. I couldn't see nothing out of my eye. But they said, "Can you see?" And I said, "Yes," because otherwise they stopped the fight. But the whole rest of the fight, I couldn't tell where I was, and I kept falling down randomly. So I did have to pull out of it. I was in a daze because I seen him throw. It looked like he was real close, but he was far away. So you'll see me throw punches, hooks, like I'm gonna land, and he's like 4 feet from me, you know. And I realized that I needed to pull out of it, and instead of trying to guess where he was, just to move forward. I ended up being TKO'd, but yeah, I was there. I was with the pulling out of the haze or the smog.
So let me ask you this: how do you prepare for a bare knuckle fight? I mean, is it any different than any other fight? What's the training like?
All right, so I work with CNC management, and we have 150 guys. all of them are trying to get into bare knuckle. I have probably 30 guys that I personally see over because I brought them in, got them in the contract and all that. Last night I was up in Fort Madison, Iowa, with a guy named Aubrey Mandaka. He's pretty good, man. He's better than I am for sure, and he's a good boxer. He's got a good MMA record, but he's doing this bare knuckle the first time. So we're in there. We're doing bare knuckle training. So like at first, he has no gloves on. I got on headgear and MMA gloves or puffies, and we're kind of flowing. He's not really throwing to connect, but he's touching me with the bare fist, and then I'm touching him because I have on the small gloves, so he's gonna be all right. But I'm not trying to knock him out or nothing. And then I got on the body gear, so he can throw the hard shots there. But then we get into catch and release, because in bare knuckle you can grab somebody's wrist as long as you let go of it and throw. So you can grab, pull, throw, or grab, go over the top. So we do a lot of that. We do a lot of clinch. You can tie up with one hand as long as the other hand is active, and you can underhook as long as the other hand's active. But as soon as both hands are locked, then they break you and put you back in the middle or whatever. Yeah, we're doing a lot of clinch work, tie plum, where you put your hand on top of their head and kind of push them down to uppercut or to hook them. And it's just catch and release, man. So we're doing a lot of catch and release stuff.
Wow. Once again, I am not getting in the ring with your ass. Anybody else? Only on We Fit.
Okay.
What's your We Fit rules?
I definitely respect that, bro. I respect that.
I mean, like I said, it takes a special person, man, to get in there and throw it all on the line for real and real fighting. I mean, when I was in high school, I went to Skyline High School in Oakland, California, and I feel special because we had the only high school that had a rugby team. And my mom said, as long as you wash dishes, as long as you play sports, you don't have to wash dishes. Say less. I played football. I tried out for basketball. Didn't make that team. Ski team, swim team. Hell, I was on the damn debate team. The track team. I threw the shot put. They let me run one relay race, and I was slow. I gave up the league, and I didn't get to run a relay no more. But I stayed as another team. I mean, I'm telling the truth. This is no glory.
That's funny.
But we did have a rugby team, and we was the only high school that had a rugby team. But to play people, we had to play colleges. So we played Foothill, Berkeley, Hayward. I mean, we playing, I'm 16 years old in the 12th grade, and I'm playing against guys that, 25, 23 in college, like grown men. And, it was fun because I loved the rugby shirts, like the little show Zoom growing up as a kid. And then I never forget my buddy, Jeremy Fukunaga. He got his face stepped on the bottom of the crowd, and he had to get reconstruction to his cheekbone. And I put hell no. I mean, just to see his face, just figured out somebody stepped on his face, just crunched his face bones, and he had to get 6 surgeries to get his cheekbone redone. I'm like, no.
Wow.
Back to football. Because I was like, football players are punks, you pussies. You got all these pads, you're crying. And rugby, you just out there with a cup, a mouthpiece, and some elbow pads. That's it. Maybe knee pads. That's it. I mean, you feeling your ribs, your gut, you feeling everything. And like I said, we played people that were a lot older than us. It's like, let's do it. But
yeah,
even if we had some pads, I mean, all you got on it, bro, is a mouthpiece and maybe some tape.
Yeah, some tape. A little bit of fight wax on that,
Man, you guys are beasts, man. I take my hats off to you. I won't do it. I don't know if I could do it, but I won't do it. So I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Them bare knuckle fights, I had experienced them growing up, and those days are over. But my hats off to you, bro. That's real fighting.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'm gonna do some pro boxing too. I'm 0-0 in pro boxing, and I've had a lot of offers, but I don't want to be taking a bunch of fights where I'm overmatched and getting a big losing record in boxing, because then you're just a trash can,
So from okay, you did mention UFC, right? So from UFC to bare knuckle, was it a hard transition? And you also said kickboxing. So from kickboxing, UFC to bare knuckle, was it a hard transition between the three? Was it easier? I mean, what's the difference?
There's there's so many different things with MMA that when you're doing it, the grappling is the biggest part in my mind, because I mean anybody can get in there and throw some big strikes and end up in a position to take somebody down or whatever. But when you mix in all the jiu-jitsu, man, that's when there's levels to it. So the transition to bare knuckles, it was actually not too bad. It's still a transition for me because I went into the first fight with my hands low. I went into the second fight a little bit tighter. This last fight was against a boxer, so I was real tight. But I think I need to go ahead and loosen up a little bit. That's where you start finding yourself is the third fight and beyond. You see guys, they go in there one time or two times, they don't make the transition and they fall off. They win, they lose, it doesn't matter. It's not for them. I see guys that are 0-12 in bare knuckle, and I'm like, this might not have been for you, bud. I can't believe you got that many losses here. But now BKFC is starting to tighten things up quite a bit. And they've came up with a point system to keep the guys that shouldn't be fighting there from fighting there. So I'll answer your question. It wasn't too hard for me, but I see a struggle with a lot of people on the transition.
I'm in Vicksburg, Mississippi right now, and right across the bridge, Louisiana, there's a little city called Monroe, and they have a huge BK fight gym out there, and a lot of people train. One of the trainers work out of my gym in Vicksburg at Wyatt's. Shout out to Wyatt's gym, and I see a lot of guys working out hard in there. And I saw one guy came in and said, he's in the recovery tank. He gets in the pool because the water's cold, to heal and ice up every day, and try to get back out there. And I thought somebody mugged him. He took a brutal beating. I'm like, if you live, I'm not getting back out there. I mean, sometimes you got to say no, but I mean, the hard task to you guys to get out there. And when they say bare knuckle, it's bare knuckles. I mean, it ain't some knuckles, it's bare knuckles.
Yeah, it hits different. People don't understand it till you get in there, man. When it just touches your face different and everything, man. So you talk about on the button, when that big knuckle hits the button,
it has arrived. It's totally different. So if you can go back, knowing all what the UFC, kickboxing, bare knuckle, and regular boxing, where would you go and where would you stay? Or would you still go?
I'd go boxing first. I'd go boxing first, and then I'd transition to bare knuckle. I think BKFC is honestly the best organization, and bare knuckle is the most savage form of combat sports you can be in. I think it's the future of combat sports. There's always going to be grappling and all that, so there's always going to be MMA and UFC and other organizations. But I think that if I could start all over, I'd do a little bit more amateur and do boxing solely, and then graduate up to BKFC. And I wouldn't let them match me with whoever and be over eager to take a fight. I would definitely run it slower, say no to somebody if I thought it was a big mismatch. When they announced my first one, they were like 44 pro boxing, and then they got to me and they're like 6 amateur, and so people were like, oh my God, he's gonna die in there. Wow. But I would do it like that though. I think boxing especially, I think the boxers are more successful in BKFC than the dudes coming out of MMA. Even UFC dudes. There was a dude, I was at the fights in Indiana last weekend to corner a guy, and and I'll be at the ones in Michigan on November 1st for those, cornering another guy, Aubrey Mandaka. But there was a UFC dude, Nate Manis, that he won his fight at BKFC, but you know, I think guys that do boxing do better. They fare better. You know?
Yeah, that's an interesting twist. That's a very interesting twist. So do you have any plans to fight soon? Have you picked your next opponent yet? Are you still looking at who's going to be your potential
I'm
victim?
waiting on them, man. I had one of the announcers, Sean Wheelock, he told me at these last fights, he's like, "Hey, you got any upcoming things going on?" And I'm like, "What's up?" And he was like, "Would you fight bare knuckle in Kansas City at a different organization against this guy that I know?" And I was like, "I'll fight anybody you tell me to, Sean." And he said he's gonna try and line it up, but it won't be till February, and I want to fight sooner than that. So I'm open to whatever. I get offered fights all the time. I got offered a fight against Derek Brunson. He fought Yoel Romero in UFC, and he's got a real extensive background. So when they offered me the fight, my only question was, how much does it pay? And when we couldn't meet up, I said yes. I mean, and it was at 205. And I'm walking around at like 203. So, and I fought at 55 last year. So it was a bad fight, but it was a cool fight, and I wanted the fight, but I had to be getting properly compensated. I couldn't fight that guy for $6,000. I needed it to be $8,000 or $10,000, or I just couldn't bring myself to sign the contract. You know, talking about getting your whole face broke. It's a different story.
I mean, it costs to train, and this is your job. It's not a hobby. So naturally, professionals have to get paid. What's the pay scale like for a fighter under 10 fights? I mean, it's $5,000 and 10 grand is like standard, or it's based on who you're fighting, or
for BKFC, it varies, depending on opponent and the actual event. They're colonizing the United States with bare knuckle right now. They're getting states legalized. They're having tryouts for that state, and then they're having an event right afterwards. So it's a very sound business plan and a nice model that they're implementing to take over. But these events in the Midwest haven't paid too well. But like all of my fights, I got 3,000 for my first fight, 4,000 for my second, and 5 for my third. I see guys get paid anywhere from $3,000 to $8,500 for their debut. And then it gradually gets better, especially if you win, but also if you're willing to say yes whenever they call, which I took 2 short notice fights and I never said no,
right?
But yeah, about $5,000. And then, that's just BKFC. If we're talking about MMA and boxing, the pay for the low level dudes is shit. You'd be lucky to see 1,200, 1,600 to fight, 1,600 to win, so it's not that good. You have to really rely on sponsorships. That's why I started the website, man. I wanted to help these guys through sponsorfighter.com to get some help with their training and all that stuff. So yeah, it's pay shit. You can't live on, if you fight 4 times a year at $5,000 a fight, that's only 20 grand. I mean, you might be able to support yourself, but not with training and everything else. That shit's expensive, man.
That's what I was figuring. Like, I mean, how do you make a living at that? I mean, there got to be more money, or you have to fight more. I mean, and
you got to work too. So last year we owned a restaurant in Texas. We had sometimes worked 16-hour days, my man. And if I found time to train, I was lucky. But I still said yes when the phone rang. And most dudes work a 9-to-5 job, and a lot of dudes that fight also do back-breaking work, construction, whatever they can do.
That's part of their training, their job, being physically fit at work.
Hell yeah.
And I salute you, my brother. I mean, yeah, woo, that's true gladiator, man. True gladiator, man. I commend you. I couldn't emulate you. I couldn't do it, but I appreciate the people like you that do.
I appreciate it.
So just to let you know a little bit about the history of Square Ring Magazine. Square Ring Magazine came about because I wanted to do something different. I wanted to know about boxing, get into boxing. And there was so many gatekeepers and so many hard obstacles to overcome to get involved. And then I became the marketing director for the American Boxing Federation. I appreciate the chance and opportunity I had there. And I left because I had to take care of my parents' lifestyle lifing, and I couldn't do that and take care of my parents. So I chose my parents. Sorry, but family's first.
Hell yeah.
I made a lot of connections with them. And then after my mom and stepfather transitioned on, hopefully heaven, hopefully we all get up there and we don't ride the slide. I decided, to try to do some more stuff, and it was difficult getting back in the boxing arena. So we came up with Square Ring Magazine so that way you guys as fighters can tell your story your way, and people get the real you, the real you, and connect with you and follow you and understand from a fighter's perspective, not a spectator's perspective. Also, we have a forum which I would love to have you come back on. It's called Clubhouse. So we're on Clubhouse. We do panels with people that want to get into boxing. If you're a ring announcer, if you're a fight scheduler, if you're a wardrobe or a costume designer, so you can get into the ring of people you need to network with. And while we're getting all these people at the bottom, some of you guys are going to make it to the top when you get there. Hopefully you don't forget us and the networking people that got you there. And back. So we're trying to break the glass ceiling within the fighting industry. Unfortunately, we're Square Ring Magazine, but we'll do it an octagon ring or any other kind of ring, as long as fighting. So Square Ring is our thing we came out with, and we're gonna stick with it. I started to Square Circle, but they want to do Square Ring, so we stuck with Square Ring, and we just out there, man. We're sponsored by my other company, Get Connected Radio Network, and 120. It's 132 different countries. We're on every platform: Siri, Alexa, Roku, Fire Stick TV, Apple TV, Android TV, Give Me Radio app. What's that thing called? Gemini, Alexa, Roku, Apple TV, our radio. We're all over the place, man. So we want to push the same thing with the boxing magazine and interviews, and hopefully start our own television network next year. So that'll be the other part. We have the radio network and the television network. And my aunt is Hughes. She has Radio One, which is about 15 or 20 different radio stations. She on TV One. So all the program we see on the TV One is owned by my daughters, family owned, family grown, family generated. And hopefully I can do the same thing and let us pass to my kids. Square Ring Magazine is here for you, your kids, your fans, your followers, to get to know the fighters up close and personal, to get their viewpoint, and to understand what it's like to be in their shoes outside the ring. And that's what we try to do here, let you tell your story your way, because you're still writing your story, and hopefully we can get you back on Square Ring Magazine to continue the chapters as you write it.
Oh yeah, awesome.
So, if possible, we'd love to just hook up with you and have you to come on to the Clubhouse and do one of the panels with us and speak to Inspire and other boxers that's out there, and the difference between the formats that you explained earlier, or those that's inspired to get in the boxing, what it takes, and give them some pointers.
I'd love that.
You gotta not be afraid to get hit in boxing. You're gonna get hit. There's nobody who never got hit. That's a lie. You're gonna get hit. That's just like being a lineman in a football game. You're gonna get touched every play. If you don't get touched one play, then something happens.
So in training, you want to get hit so that it's not a shock to you. That's why sparring is so important.
All right.
You got to be able to take them hits, man.
Oh
If I
man,
could,
this
if
is so
if I could talk about fight wax for a second,
sure.
yeah, for sure. So,
Wait, let me ask you this: how did you get involved with Fight Wax?
oh my God, it is the craziest story. And this just goes to show you, man, always be networking, always be putting yourself out there. I moved to Iowa in November, and they don't have a gym around here that's real good. So I travel a little bit to go box. But here they have a YMCA. So I go to the YMCA daily. I hit the workout. I hit the sauna. Every time I get in the sauna, I can't shut my mouth. I network all the time. So I'm talking to this guy, and he mentions that he has a friend who was asking if he knew anybody in combat sports. And I had been telling him I was a fighter. I spoke to him a few times. He said, "Yeah, I know a guy," and asked if he could put me in a WhatsApp call with them. So I end up talking to the dudes. And first thing I do is insult Canadians. They're Canadian, so they laughed at that. And then they liked me enough to give me a shot. And I told them, "Look, let me do this. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start doing something for you guys, and I don't expect nothing back right now." I shot them a pitch. They turned it down. It was an advertising play. I was trying to make a little bit of money off of them, and everybody's out for a buck. But I started getting their logo slapped on BKFC banners free of charge. And then I started getting in the ear. They're looking for investors, small investors now, because I think they secured a large one. But they're looking for a few more, trying to get a production facility in the United States going, which I think they have designs on already. But yeah, this guy put me in the call with them. I ended up doing some promotional things, on my own dime or whatever, trying to wedge my foot in the door with them. And I said, "Hey," I introduced him to the president of BKFC, Dave Feldman, and made a few other introductions, got the fight wax on some shorts here or there. And I said, "Hey, when you guys start hiring people, I'll let you know I'm an expert salesman. I could sell salt to a slug and roach to a bug, whatever, dude." And so yeah, they said, you know what? You are going to be our salesman. So I'm the United States point of contact for sales for Fight Wax currently. And I love it, man. If people want to order small amounts here, they can contact me, and I get the big package from Canada and distribute the small ones here. Merch, whatever it is. They make quality merch too. Like this hat. This hat it's stitched in there, man, and it's flex fit with the backing too. The shirts, oh, they're high quality, man. But yeah, I'm definitely thrilled to be involved, and they linked up with some good people for the production facility, and I think it's New York and Florida. Don't quote me on it because I might have misspoke on that, but I've gotten the wax. I've passed it out to boxers, BKFC dudes. Everybody likes it. It's all natural. It's a great replacement for Vaseline. Instead of putting all this stuff on your face, it's going to make you break out. It's a healing thing, similar to like triple antibiotic. I would compare it to like a all natural Vaseline replacement with healing mechanisms. Yeah, pretty good, man.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I'm about to get me. I got me about a container, 2 containers of Fight Wax. Matter of fact, I'm looking at one over there on the shelf right now.
Yeah.
And it's, man, like I got stung by, I got bit by a mosquito, and it blistered because I scratched it, and it turned to ugly looking sore. The White Wax sealed it, made it heal quicker, didn't itch no more. The stuff works, man. People with asthma, was it eczema?
Eczema, yeah, eczema.
Can use it. I mean, multiple uses, man. It's great stuff. Great stuff.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Pretty good. So yeah, it's nice to work with them, man. I like all of them too. I spoke to him quite a bit on conference calls, and it's always good. Leaves me feeling good about the situation, and now being part of the team, I'm real happy and real excited to talk about it.
Amazing. So, what advice do you have for somebody inspiring bare knuckle or fighting or cage fighting?
I'll tell you, best advice I can give you is you got to have 5 or more amateur fights or 1 pro fight in any combat sport. So once you get there, you contact us at CNC Management. We give you a contract and we just get the ball rolling. There's 3 management companies that get the phone call. If you got some random manager that is not part of the conversation, you're not going to get consistent fights. You might get one if you're real good and you're a standout, but if you're not lined in with one of these 3 management companies, you're not going to be on the roster active. You're just not. And I'm going to use an example. Tommy Morrison's son. So Tommy Morrison's son got his fight, but where has he been at since? I've seen guys fight 3 times in the time that he's only fought once. You know, there's another dude down there from that area. His name's slipping my mind, but yeah, he got a fight and on the Texas card, and then nothing. And he wants to fight. He's good. He just they don't get the calls. They call our management company and they say, hey, we need a guy at 55, 75, 205, you know, and then we're like, we got so-and-so, we got so-and-so. We do this for boxing, and I get guys on UFC Fight Pass sometimes. We got a few different people that call all the time. But other than that, man, if you're not part of the squad, bro, you might as well find something else to do.
It's kind of like we tell people, the only way to stay connected is to get connected over here.
Exactly.
So they got to get in where they fit in, man, and get with a good organization so they can stay active.
Yeah, you gotta know the people, man. That's 100. So you know, good management is one of the things I would say. And another thing is get lots of boxing experience. I mean, that's going to be the mainstay in bare knuckle. You know, the good head movement, the good rolls and the good flips. That's going to be detrimental to making it in BKFC. And you know, have good social media marketing. You know, market yourself. First thing you sell in business is yourself. Make yourself marketable. You know, tell people who you are every time you have a chance.
I'm gonna hold you to it, man. I got to get my hat, bro. I need my Fight Wax hat. I love to have a shirt, but I definitely need my hat. Like I said, you know, Fight Wax is one of the companies that we endorse and we sponsor a lot out here. Let's see, we got it up here. We do a show with David Jackson and Paige, the Canadian champion, and it's called Coach's Corner. And this is the backdrop right here. It's one of the backdrops for it. And we got this one too. And as you see, we represent Fight Wax. So we don't just say it, we be about it.
Okay.
But, this is my next sponsor, Rock'em Sock'em and Boxheads. Coming to it.
I have that tattooed on my side, bro.
You got the Rock'em Sock'em and Boxheads on your side. Oh my, he's not playing. This is crazy.
Yeah, I had that tattooed on my side. They're inside of a bare knuckle ring on my tattoo, though.
Wow, that's amazing. I pull this out every now and then. Tomorrow, we need this on We Fit. They need to retro this for We Fit, you know, and then I can get in the ring with you. So, I was privileged to receive a couple of belts, being a director for the American Boxing Federation and some other stuff I did in boxing. I never overboxed to get my belts, and I really appreciate them. I understand what the fighters go to. It's a commitment. Like you said, a lot of the fights, amateurs, or all the fights, amateurs, you're not getting paid. You got to work out. You got to feed your family. You got to train to compete. It is a hell of a commitment. And then you got to go in there with bare knuckles, and it's do or don't do. There's no
Yeah.
coach to blame, no wife to blame, the kids. Is you and somebody one is just as much as you or more on the other side of that ring. And the one that is more determined is the one that come out victorious with no gloves on. So like I said again, man, I honor and admire what you do. I can't do it. I'm glad that you and others that do to give us something to report and to highlight over here at Squaring Magazine. And I appreciate you, bro.
All right. Thank you, man.
So I'm gonna need you to hold tight. Is there anything you want to say before we type out? But after we, need you to hold tight.
Yeah, for sure. I'm sponsorfighter.com, sponsorfighters.com with an S. Go build a profile today if you're a fighter. And then if you're not a fighter and you just have a small business, it's free advertising space. You just go on there and click register your business and you can put a profile down. And the other thing is my TikTok is the guy on the couch, which is also my moniker for BKFC. So I appreciate you guys having me.
All right. Thank you so much, man. And like I say, every time we have a show, we hope we leave you better than receive with a smile on your face and grace anywhere you may go throughout the day. Join GC Radio, gcradiohub.com. We're here for you. And once again, this segment of Squaring Magazine is sponsored by Get Connected Radio Network. Thank y'all for coming. We love you and have an outstanding day.
In a world of endless noise, one sound cuts through. GC Radio Hub. Your world, your sound. Imagine your favorite voices following you everywhere. From your smartphone to your car, your smart TV, even your virtual assistant. GC Radio Hub connects you to a universe of content. Check out our wonderful interviews on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio live music shows and podcasts. All at your fingertips. Android TV, Apple TV, Roku, Fire Stick TV. We're there wherever you are, because the only way to stay connected is to get connected. Download the GC Radio Hub app today and let your world come alive.